Hey guys, I am gameadvisor and welcome to our beginner's guide to Smalland. We'll be going over how to really get started and what you'll be wanting to do in your first days of your time in Smalland, as well as giving you guys some extra useful tips throughout your entire journey in the game. These extra tips will come at the end of the video, so if you've already gone past the first boss, feel free to go ahead and skip there and listen to those if you don't want to listen to the rest of the video and you're feeling like it's just not that useful to you. With all that being said though, let's go ahead and start off by talking about what you'll want to be doing as soon as you enter the game. First and foremost, as soon as you exit the starting tunnel, you'll find a gentleman outside who can craft you two different sets of armor. These currently include the padded and the traveler's armor sets. We highly recommend that you make the padded armor set, as the padded armor set will give you a large amount of cold resistance, which is extremely useful when you're starting out since you really won't have a lot of ways to keep warm, and the traveler set will actually make you cold at night, which means you'll have to be sleeping every single time nighttime arrives, and that's not always an option. Next, you'll want to try to make your way to a great tree. If you don't know what a great tree is, just look around the world and you'll see a very large tree in pretty much every direction. You'll want to go ahead and head over to one of those, but we do recommend you head over to this one here, as this one is most likely going to be one of the easiest ones for you to get to. The reason these great trees are so important is because they actually give you a safe place to build. You don't want to be dummies like us and build your base on the ground level, as you'll have no protection from all the different creatures roaming around, and it's really just a total pain, as you won't be able to also teleport your base to other great trees around the map. This is a huge reason as to why you'll want your great tree, since being able to teleport your base to whatever area you're currently doing stuff in is incredibly useful and time saving. And this doesn't even mention the fact that once you get wings for your character, you'll be able to glide extremely large distances from your base, allowing you to cover a vast amount of land in a very short period of time. Next, you'll want to start working towards a pickaxe and a crude hatchet. To find the chitin for the hatchet, you'll want to look for these large stink bug kind of looking creatures. Once you find them, go ahead and take them down. They're usually going to be weak to blunt damage, and then they'll drop you some chitin. Chitin is usually going to drop with about 1 to 4 depending on which creature you're killing, and just as a little pointer here, you can also kill crickets, which are much easier to kill, and they also drop chitin, but it's usually only 1. As soon as you finish those two tools, you should probably go ahead and build yourself a cauldron so that you can make a grasshopper tree. A grasshopper tree is something that is absolutely required for you to tame your first mount in the game, and it will dramatically help you with traversing the land. Once you've gone ahead and crafted that grasshopper tree, you'll simply want to find a grasshopper, and if you're struggling to find a grasshopper, you can find a guaranteed spawn for one right here, and then you'll need to lower its HP down to 50%. After that's been done, simply interact with the grasshopper while having the grasshopper tree inside your inventory in order to tame it. Next up, you'll probably want to get some better armor, some better weapons, and some better tools to help you prepare for your very first boss fight. To do this, you'll want to head over to Kaliv for some cheap but usable stone armor, and then head down south to the beach near Scatty. On your way to that beach near Scatty, make sure that you do actually stop by and talk to him, as he does offer some other armor sets, as well as gives you the quest to take on the very first boss. So we'll just go ahead and get that out of the way by stopping by now on our way to the beach. Once you reach the beach, you'll encounter some relatively dangerous mobs such as geckos and water bugs, so be sure to be careful, as they can easily take you out if you're not prepared. What you're looking for is flint, since this is the key material you're going to need if you want to craft higher level weapons at the stone cutter. I'd recommend that you get yourself at least 60 flint before heading back to your base, as you're going to want to be able to have all of that to craft things like your tools, your weapons, and then just have a few extra for repairs. Speaking of which, if you didn't already know, you can actually repair all of your items at the workbench by simply clicking the repair tab at the top while interacting with it. If you do it before the durability of your item goes to the yellow tier, you'll actually be able to repair the item for free, so you should do this anytime you stop by your base. Now, before you decide to take on that first boss, we recommend that you bring the following things: a set of stone or better armor, a flint sword, a bow with at least 50 or more arrows, a stack of food, and at least 1 to 2 stacks of bandages. Finally, make sure to set up a small base nearby and place down a bed so that if you do happen to die during the boss fight, you have a very close spawn that will get you right back into the fight and not waste a ton of your time running back. Fair warning, I don't want to spoil how to beat the boss himself, but I will say that bosses in this game do have one-shot mechanics, and they will take you out if you're not using your dodge roll, which does have a set of invincibility frames for just a split second after you use the dodge. The dodge roll is going to be used with the bottom left control button on your keyboard, and again, you get a very small window of invincibility right when you press the button, which is absolutely critical to taking on any boss inside this game. Now I want to leave you guys with some quick extra bonus tips to help you out in your journey through Smalland, whether you're just beginning or you've already experienced quite a bit of the game. First is that when you create a server, make sure to always set the server to private and then set a password. If you don't do this, any player can join your server, take items out of your boxes, and then take them back to their own server for themselves. Next is that you can become a vacuum cleaner by simply holding down the F key in order to pick up items nearby, rather than spamming the F key to pick up each individual one. After that is that when you're looking for your first set of wings or glider, whatever you want to call it, you're going to want to head over to Drastana, but be warned, it will take some mid-game materials that you likely will not have if you have not downed the first boss yet. Following that is that you can place down a stick foundation and then just hide underneath it during a storm in order to give yourself shelter. This only costs like 1 fiber and 1 stick, so it's incredibly useful in a pinch. You can also gain the well-fed buff by simply having more than 70 hunger at any point in time, which will slowly regenerate your HP. And if you're wondering why you can't tame a creature, it's probably because you can only have 1 tame per player, at least for now. This will probably change in the future, but for now, we are only able to have 1 mount or 1 of any type of tame per player. This means if you have a grasshopper, you cannot also have a gecko, as I learned the hard way. And the last tip I want to leave you guys with, that is probably the most important tip of all, is that if you happen to jump or fall into water in any way, shape, or form, you are going to die and your mount will die with you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I want to give a big shout out to our Platinum Above channel members, which currently include Caustic FPV, Jonathan S, Gerald89, Jim Phillips, and AZ Blackbird. I'm Game Advisor, and I'll see you next time.